Hey everybody and welcome back. Have you ever wondered about how the items in the traveling cart are determined? Or maybe what it would be like to get an ancient seed on the very first day of the game? Have you still never had a visit from the crop fairy? We can solve these problems together, without even installing a single mod. But please do note I did test these seeds on PC on the standard farm with remixed bundles off. Your results may vary on console or on different farms. Let's get started. Setting your world seed is as easy as going to the advanced game options, scrolling down to the bottom and finding other options, and instead of letting the game generate a random default seed for you, you can input a series of numbers to basically tell the game how you want certain things to act. We're going to start with our very first seed here, and this is a seed that I've kind of nicknamed Linus's Secret. In this seed, 281-191-250, you can make a trip up to visit Linus by his tent. Very first thing that we're going to do of the day, we're not even going to grab our parsnip seeds because we just don't care about them. So swinging up around the side here, we are just going to go straight up and visit Linus right in the early morning as he's having his morning alone time. If you hurry, you can, well, you don't have to hurry, it'll be here all day, but you can find a dig spot right over by his campfire while he's making his morning visit to the toilet bush, and just hiding in plain sight right outside of Linus's tent is an ancient seed. Can you imagine the kind of kickstart that could give you for the beginning of your game? The second seed that I want to kind of showcase today is, I don't know, a little bit different. I didn't give this one a nickname, but if I did, it would have been something like Event Overload or something. I don't know, you guys probably think of a better name for these than me. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. Anyway, the world seed is 269-733-094. And this is a seed that I would recommend for anyone that feels like they haven't been able to see some of the more rare events in the game. When you load into this seed, the first thing that you're going to want to do is get all of your crops into the ground. I mean, obviously that's pretty standard fare anyway, but there'll be a reason for that and we'll get back to it in a little bit. One important thing to note about this seed though is that you may want to spend some extra time clearing your farm, because this seed is going to give you the opportunity for a couple of rare events in your very first spring. If you've never gotten a stone owl, and I understand that they're not quite as rare as they used to be, but if you've never gotten a stone owl, you can actually get one in the very first spring on your farm here. The other thing that you'll see in the first spring, about midway through if I remember correctly, is a meteorite. If you've never had a meteorite, or you've never had a stone owl on your farm, this is a way to pretty much guarantee yourself one. You do need to make sure that there's space for the owl to fire though. The other thing that's really neat about this seed though is if you can wait for a few days, you just either go to sleep or go about your normal business or whatever you want, you'll actually have a crop fairy visit on the third night of spring, year one. And that can be a great way to kind of kickstart the beginning of your year and just set you up for a lot of success early in the game. The third seed that we have here has fewer events, but I would argue that the timing is possibly the key aspect here. You can really push yourself to a solid start in spring. If you use seed 270-192-222, the crop fairy is actually not going to wait for the third day of spring. She's going to visit you on the very first night you spend in Grandpa's little hut. So we'll clear out a little space here, but the reality of this is you could do a lot of really interesting things here. If you wanted to, you could, get your parsnips in the ground and that's fine. But a couple other options, you could start setting up some beans right away and have yourself some food that's regrowing for the entire season of spring. Really great for getting down into the mines. Alternatively, you could load up on cauliflower, get as much as you can plant on day one, and just hope that it fires in a place that's really convenient for you. Get yourself some good cash. Probably my favorite thing that I would want to do with this, though, is get at least enough seeds to complete your very first spring crops bundle overnight. You'll be done with it before the community center is even open. That's going to get you access to some really key early speed grow that you can use to just pump your strawberry production straight into the stratosphere. I really, really like this seed, even though it's a little bit more simple. All world seeds are not created equal though, and there is one seed that I've found online that stands above the rest. And this one is not necessarily because of the events. In seed 203-853-699, you can pretty much guarantee yourself a quick community center completion without even checking the first year compatibility box. This seed gives you so much stuff to save you time. And I don't think I can honestly explain well enough without showing you, so let's go on a little shopping trip. Now I do have a couple of mods installed to help me with the passage of time, because otherwise this video would just get really, really ridiculously long. But you can rest assured that the stuff that's available at the traveling cart is going to be accurate to your game. So let's go down a list of the things that we can find at the traveling cart on these specific days. Like, this is never going to change. You can always find these things. And let's talk about how you can finish the community center without really investing very much into animals. If you didn't see it already because I was gabbing away, you can get a duck feather on the 5th of spring. And then if we continue on to spring 21 of year 1, we can find a large goat milk. Pretty solid as well. We're actually going to hop into summer now, and we can find on the 12th, which is a Friday, you can find a nautilus shell. You can also find some truffle oil. Nautilus shells, I mean, it's just a matter of time, but the truffle oil saves us from needing the final, upgrade there. We can also find a sturgeon, a rabbit's foot, tiger trout, which I don't know why I was so excited about that one, but on Sunday, the 21st of summer, you can find all of those things. On the 28th of summer, and this isn't necessarily related to the community center, but we can just straight up buy ancient seeds, unlike finding them next to Linus's tent in our other seed. If we take ourselves to fall 12th, we can find a red cabbage for sale, and that is not a red cabbage seed, that is just a straight up red cabbage. One of the worst things to deal with, hardest things to find, most frustrating parts of the community center, for sale. Every single time. Move forward a couple of days and we can find a crab for sale, which, not crazy, but a large egg as well. I mean, we're just knocking out the community center and we haven't even built a coop, a barn, or anything. Now, I would still probably recommend doing that, but you could skip some of the upgrades. If we go into winter here, though, you can see we have truffles and rabbit's feet. So, our 3rd level upgrades for the coop and the barn are specifically for those animals, right? You don't have to worry about it in year 1 with this seed. If you don't have them yet, you can take yourself to the end of the year, winter 26, and you can buy yourself some cloth to finish up your community center. You can also get some coffee beans and start your coffee empire right away in spring of year 2. Now, those are just a couple of the bajillions of different world seeds out there, and I'm sure that there are some interesting ones that I probably just don't know about, so if you have any other interesting world seeds that you've encountered somewhere, please let me know down in the comments, especially if it's something that happens really interesting in the early game. That's really what I'm looking for. Anyway, I hope you guys had some fun with this one, and I will see you in the next one.